Hello, so in this lesson we're going to look at macros. So if you've ever found yourself doing a repetitive task over and over in Excel, reformatting worksheet after worksheet, and you've asked yourself the question, there must be an easier way to do this. There must be a quicker way to do this. Well, there is, and the easiest and quickest way to do a repetitive task in Excel is to record a macro. So if you open up the workbook Intro to Macros, right, so here you have a timesheet for the month of January 2014. So your boss has asked you to create a timesheet for every working week in January 2014. Right, so you've used clever formula here to extract the date from the worksheet name, and you've used clever formulas in here, right, to put in each day of the week. Right, so you've copied this and you've created one for each week of January 2014. Right, so it does the job, but it's not very user friendly. Right, people can come in here and start messing with your formulas, and right, you don't want that. It doesn't look great either. You want to reformat it so that it looks better, but you don't want to have to do the same thing over and over again for 4 different sheets. So maybe if you do it once, record it, and then play it back over the other worksheets, it'll be a lot easier. And you can do that quite easily by using macros. So macros are found on the developer tab. Now if you don't have the developer tab, right, it's quite easy to display it. So in Excel 2010, 2013, 2007, if you just click on File, Options, Customize the ribbon, and this button here needs to be checked. Right, so make sure that developer tab is checked and then click OK. So what are we going to do? That's the first question you have to ask yourself before you start creating a macro. Well, I'm going to reformat this to make it more user friendly. So I'm going to probably make this area bold, this area bold, this area bold, change a few colors. Right, so right, that's what I need to know before I start creating a macro, because what Excel does when it's recording a macro is basically record every single click of the mouse, every single keystroke, right, and it puts it into a computer program. So if you're doing unnecessary work, it's just a waste of time, right? So you don't want to do anything that's unnecessary. So have it clear in your head before you record what you're going to do. So if you click on record macro, what we're going to do here is make things bold and color them. Now you can put in a description here if you wish, and a shortcut key also. So we'll say Control, Shift and Z, and click OK. So now my macro is recording. So everything I do now, Excel is taking note. Right, so I'm going to press Control and select this area here. Right, Control and select this area here. Control, select this area here. Control and select this area here, and also Control and here and here. So I'm going to make those bold. Right, I'm going to align this to the right. I'm going to merge and center them and align to the right. And I'm going to make this area a reddish hue. Right, we'll see what we get. More colors. So slightly pinky red. And let's make this a greenish color. Nothing too violent, make it light enough. And this area yellow, press Control, this is going to be yellow. Control, this is going to be yellow. Control, this is going to be yellow. Right, a light yellow. Alright, nothing too violent. And we will select also this area here, 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 and here, and put a border around all that. and then let's insert a column here. So right click, insert, and then insert a row. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. Stop recording. Developer, stop recording. So now if I go to 17th of January, developer, macro, right, there's my macro, run it, and it carries out the actions which I just recorded. Okay, so what if I want to record a second macro? Well, all I do is record a second macro, right? So I want to make only this area here modifiable, so everything else I want it to be locked, because I don't want people to go in and change anything. The only place I want people to change is in the green area, right? So if I go back in, record to developer, record macro, call it protection, right? I'm not going to bother with a shortcut key or description, just click OK. Right, so now my macro is recording, so I'm going to select this area here, right click, format cells, protection, unlock them, click OK, right, and then review and protect the worksheet, and now stop recording. So now if I click here, I'm not allowed, but if I click here, right, I can type away, no problem. So the green areas are unprotected and everything else is protected, right? And what if I want to remove the grid lines, right? So I'm going to remove the grid lines. So again, record macro, grid lines. Okay, so go to view, take off the grid lines, right, and stop recording. Right. So now I've got 3 different macros. I don't want to have to go in and run each one individually, so what I'm going to do is, out of the 3 macros, I'm just going to create one macro. So on the keyboard, press Alt and F11, and it should open up Visual Basic, and in there you should have modules, and select module 1. So a macro is defined with a sub, so it's a subroutine. There's my first macro, there's my second macro, and my third macro. Right, so I'm going to combine all of these by deleting this area, right, and then deleting end sub here as well. So basically I've just got one subroutine. There's the end, and scroll back up, there's the beginning. I'm going to give it a proper name, protect and grid, right? So that's what it does. Click on save, yes, right, I can close this, and now in one go I will run the macro, right, so there it is, run it, it's protected, you can change here, grid lines are gone, and then do the same for your last worksheet, right, macro, run. And then if you're doing it for every other week of the year, that's all you have to do, run your macro. Okay, so that's a brief introduction to macros.